So here it is. I'm opening up Netflix. There's some words at the top of my screen where I cannot see everything. It's got, I see home, movies, categories, but to the left of that, there's some words on there that's cut off and I cannot see what it is. And I am trying to see if I can maneuver and make my screen a little smaller so it can fit into here, but I'm unable to do that. I shouldn't have to, y'all, I shouldn't have to minimize or rearrange my bookmark bar or whatever. I have a bar to the left of me where it's got like Windows, or it's got Google and my camera and my tabs. That's actually in the way of me being able to see the full screen of Netflix. I don't like that because I cannot fully see my screen now. I'm trying to figure out shelf, auto high shelf position, set wallpaper and style. I shouldn't have to move my shelf around just to see everything on Netflix, but that's what I'm having to do. So I moved it over so it could go to the right. So Netflix, if you're watching me, I have a Chromebook. It's about a 14-inch screen, and I have my shelf tab and it's in the way. I am watching Netflix on my Chromebook. So as soon as I go into the Netflix, my tab is in the way. And I don't like that. I shouldn't have to move it around just to see the full screen of my Netflix. Nonetheless, my Netflix, I'm going in. Hold on, I need to switch out of this one and go into Mine's. I am going into my profile right now on Netflix. Y'all, this is fun. So as I'm scrolling down, of course, we've got Saw that's coming up right at the top of my screen. I don't know if you guys know, but Netflix, they have the Saw movie available. And I think it's all the Saws. So if you're interested in watching the Saw, that is currently available on Netflix, and I'm here for it. I like the Saw movies, so that's already added to my list on Netflix. So I've got Goofy TV shows, continue watching. I'm scrolling down my long list of home things. I'm curious to see where the new features are as far as here it is, way down here at the bottom. So you guys, I had to go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I had to go down 14 rows on my Chromebook before I got to Podcast Now on Netflix. Now, I don't know how yours is set up on your computer, or if you're watching Netflix on your TV. You know, because most people, they watch TV differently now. They're watching it on their cell phones, or they're watching it on their tablets. But I'm watching it on my Chromebook, and I had to go 14 rows down just to see Podcasts Now on Netflix. So the moment you've been waiting for. So shouts out to Netflix because the format is different. I do like it. It looks crisp. I can't say that. It do look clean. And I'm wondering if there's a way I can add Netflix. I'm going to open up a new window really quickly to see if I can do that. That's still kind of warm. In my cup for today, I have some tea, and it's almost a little bit too hot for my liking, but nonetheless, the tea is teaing. I want to thank all my cool peeps who showed up today for my morning mood segment. That was fun. Thank you for all your birthday wishes. And in addition to that, we got new subscribers. Thank you, and to my new subscribers. So, let me see if I can turn this light down a little bit. Oh, that's so much better. I turned down the lights on my ring light. Okay, what I'm doing right now is seeing if I can at the breakfast, not at the Breakfast Club, but at Netflix. All right, and push save. So there we go. I can close this out. Back to Netflix. So as I was saying, I had to go 14 rows down to get to podcast. I'm watching and looking at Netflix for the first time on my Google Chrome, and I'm really taking the time officially to go through the whole Netflix situation, since to me they've gotten a facelift. One of the main facelifts is making room for the podcast section. Podcast now on Netflix. Here it is. Conspiracy theories, killer stories, murder with my husband. Creepy. We've got This Is Important, the last podcast on the left. How can I scroll over? I'm having issues, guys, navigating my Netflix because my shelf is in the way. Let me see if I can position it to move down to the bottom. My next concern is I'm trying to scroll over to see what the next videos are or the next podcast, and I'm not able to. I'm using my mouse, but I'm not able to toggle over to the left or to the right. I don't even see any arrow buttons. Now, I'm not sure if it's my device or not, but that's messed up. So I do have a backup computer uploaded to see if I'm going to have the same problem that I'm having with this one. I have two variants of Chromebooks. And so what I'm going to do is open up my other computer and see if I'll have any issues navigating on this one. Because I cannot scroll left or right and I'm using the mouse. I do not see any arrows on here. Netflix, I am trying to watch and see what you have available on podcast now on Netflix, and I cannot scroll left or right. I can only go up or down using my mouse. I don't see any command buttons to let me look. And so what I'm doing is physically pushing the arrow keys on my computer. Now it's working. So it could be my computer, because I had to press down really hard, and I've never had to press down hard on my computer keys just to make it go left or right, but I'm really pressing down hard on my arrow keys. So for me, as I'm doing that, they're moving, and if you don't have good vision, you will miss the subtle highlight over the podcast buttons. So when I'm pressing my right button, the box slightly gets brighter, but it's so subtle you won't even notice. So I don't know if that's the tactic you guys are using to force our hand to watch the podcast that I previously listed, because I've never had issues toggling before on this device on the computer. So as I was saying, we've got the podcast that's presented to me on Netflix: Conspiracy Theories, Killer Stories, Murders with My Husband, This Is Important, the last podcast on the left. Then there they are,